1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, almost 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. If you don't have a job, you need a job. There's a job fair going on right now, by the way, over at the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Yep.
So if I were to give you advice on how to have an income, I would say get a job.
Exactly. Don't wait.
But I don't want to be flippant. There are some good ideas, and you might have a job. You might be saying, come on, don't be so silly. I want to hear some really good advice. Well, you're not going to get it from me because I don't know. But Michael Eastham does. He's written this book. You're going to love this one. It's called Common Sense Income Strategies. If you're looking at the streaming video right now, it's on the cover of the book is on the picture there because Mr. Eastham is not in the studio. He is a recognized expert in the areas of financial strategies, financial and retirement planning, asset protection. He's the founder and president of Fellowship Financial Group in Altamont Springs. He teaches adult education courses and continuing education for CPAs, financial planners, attorneys. You get the picture. And just to give one more feather in his cap, he's on the big ones. He's on Fox Business, CNBC, etc. And he's on our little show to promote the book, Common Sense Income Strategies, Simple Step-by-Step Ways to Maximize Your Retirement. Michael Eastham, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Larry and Robin. Thanks so much for having me. It's a privilege to be here.
Thank you. It's amazing how illiterate we are, to use a word that may not apply, but how illiterate we are when it comes to money. We don't really understand how to make money or how to hold on to money.
Yes.
Yeah, I think in today's environment, it's kind of interesting because people tend to want to look at money as a confusing thing. And Wall Street does a good job, and the financial media does a good job of making it sound a lot more complicated. But yet, when you get to retirement, or when you approach retirement, then it certainly makes sense to make sure that you take a balanced approach in your investments based on a strategy that supports your retirement goals. And that's really, what Common Sense Income Strategies is all about. We want to make sure that your strategy isn't in conflict with your goals.
Can both age groups that I'm about to identify benefit from the book? The two age groups are the 20-somethings and the 50-somethings. Can a 50-something person actually, at that point in his or her life, do something to make sure their retirement is still healthy?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that amazes me, and actually it works, is very good for both generations. But one thing I will say about baby boomers and folks who are approaching retirees, is goals actually change. When you get closer to retirement, your goals change. But it never ceases to amaze me that when this happens, a lot of people don't evaluate the investment strategy that they have in place to make sure that it's not in conflict. And we talk a lot in the book about the difference between performance versus purpose-based investing. And performance is just investing for growth. You're hoping that the market continues to go up so that you can be okay in retirement. That's speculating. Purpose investing is investing for interest and dividends and things that are much more predictable. And so if you're a conservative millennial and you're just trying to get started, well, this can also be a very good strategy for you as well.
And how do we know which investments are, as you say, common sense? Is it the safe ones, or can a riskier investment make sense?
Well, that really depends on the individual. If all the money you have in retirement you need in order to live and generate income, well, then you don't want to take too much risk. That person needs to be much more conservative with their allocation. But if you're somebody who has a larger nest egg and you don't necessarily need all that money to generate income for you to live on in retirement, well, perhaps you could take a little more risk with those dollars. And I guess the mystery really becomes, well, what does that really look like? And every situation is a little bit different.
What kind of advice do you give that would fit into the common sense category regarding real estate? I mean, do we buy investment properties? Do we get the 15-year mortgages or versus the 30-year? What is the best advice?
Well, look, I'm not opposed to real estate at all. I mean, I own some real estate personally, and if you like being in the real estate market, And being a landlord or buying and selling properties, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you like a more passive approach, you could certainly do that using something like a real estate investment trust that is more designed to generate income.
Well, and I think somebody who really studies it, as you have, is the person to go to or to look to for advice from, as opposed to, and I guess this is common sense, the infomercials that you hear on the media, including radio, by the way, sometimes trying to sell you, I don't know, products or maybe even like packages so you can learn how to flip properties, those kind of things. It's probably common sense to stay away from that, the get-rich-quick schemes, I would think.
I totally agree with that. I mean, most of the time, those types of people make more money selling their systems, and teaching people than they do actually in real estate, for example, or something like that. So you definitely have to use a common sense approach, but it does help if you're not comfortable in that space. Then the book Common Sense Income Strategies will at least open your eyes to some of the realities that exist in investing, and as well as some strategies that can help you to live more comfortably and have peace of mind in retirement. You don't want to just buy a product for the purpose of buying a product.
Right, exactly.
You have something that supports it.
And the students, the majority of the students that go to college on scholarships, and then they have to subsidize that with student loans, the majority of them have a handle on it, and they realize that once they get out of college, they have to find that good job that they've studied for all these years to pay off that loan. And that might be a little bit difficult in the beginning, but soon, if they keep doing it all the time, as you point out, that loan will disappear, and then they can continually save money for the rest of their life.
That's right. I mean, it's a huge weight off your shoulders when you get to the end of a loan that you've gotten paid off, whether it's a mortgage or student loans or car loans even. But so that does help because you've got a budget for that. So it's very important that you're disciplined on a day-to-day basis, and you're able to manage your expenses within the income limits that you have.
What's common sense, to get rid of the credit cards or to use them responsibly?
Well, there's nothing wrong with using credit cards responsibly. I mean, they do help your credit score, so if you're thinking about buying a house or something like that, you might need a mortgage, well then certainly, but you got to be real careful. There are too many ways to fall into a massive pit that can really affect your financial life for many, many years to come. And we have a section in the book that addresses, the application of debt in retirement or before retirement as well.
Yeah, if anybody who's owing money and looks at their how much they're paying toward interest and principal, you get sick every time you look at that stuff. The sooner you get out of that trap, the better, right? All right, I have a copy of the book. I'd like to give it away. You sent us one, so I want to give it to a listener. Call us right now if you'd like it. The number is 622-9622, and then I'll find out from Michael how the rest of us can go buy it. Let me pick one at random here. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Thanks, Larry. This is Judy.
Judy, you've got it. It'll be waiting for you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome. Michael, that was quick. You've got a hot one on your hands. What is a good way to buy the book?
Well, you can go to, we try to make it as easy as possible, commonsenseincomestrategies.com. It's the title of the book, commonsenseincomestrategies.com. We've also made available a free download, a white paper that I put together that talks about the red zone of retirement that can be applicable to quite a few people, and there's also some information there that you can learn more about us in the book as well. So,
all right, good information.
And how do you keep people from getting discouraged?
One of the things that I try to tell people to do is number one, understand how much income you need for retirement. That's a question, unfortunately, that they don't teach us in financial planning school, is asking those types of basic questions. So once you know what that is, well, I find that if people come into my office and they're not really sure, so we help them evaluate that and come up with what that number is. And many times we get to a point where once they know what that is and they understand, okay, so here are my parameters. Now I know what I need to do in order to establish income, and I can at least think about retirement.
Well, yeah, that makes sense too. Well, common sense is the key word here. Common sense, simple, step-by-step ways to maximize your retirement. Common sense income strategies. Michael Eastham, thank you for being on the air with us. And if you're ever in the Ocala area, we'd love to have you in the studio.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, we will be right back.